What's up, Star Wars nerds, and welcome to another episode of Brett on Fett. On today's episode, I've got the brand new wave of figures from the Vintage Collection to show you guys. Plus, we got some cool pickups, including the Mandalorian Prototype Edition from the Retro Collection and the Kenner-colors Boba Fett from the Vintage Collection. Let's get to it. Welcome back to the channel. This is episode 56 of Brett on Fett, and it's been an awesome week for pickups. Last weekend, right after I was done recording the video for my last episode, I went over to my local Target and to my surprise was able to find not only the Mandalorian Prototype Edition from the Retro Collection, but also the Kenner-colors Boba Fett for the Vintage Collection. And then yesterday, at my door, showed up a case of the brand new wave of Vintage Collection figures shipped over from Entertainment Earth, so I can't wait to show you guys those new figures. But before we get to those, let's quickly take a look at the Mandalorian Prototype Edition and the Kenner-colors Boba Fett. Alright, so first off we have the Mandalorian Prototype Edition for the Retro Collection. If you follow my channel, you may know that I love these Prototype Editions. They are my favorite part of the Retro Collection, and it's all because of the card back. I love these foil card backs with the art on them. They just look fantastic. And they always have some cool artwork on the back as well. There's a little write-up. So yeah, these are great. I love the way these look. Now, I was thrown off a little bit that they went away from the regular just Star Wars chase and strictly using original trilogy characters, but it still looks great. I picked up a couple. I'm going to give probably this red-headed one to a friend or make it a channel giveaway, but very happy to have another prototype. I'm just going to keep buying these as they come out. Alright, so this is the 2019 San Diego Comic-Con exclusive Kenner-colors Fett for the Black series, and ever since this came out, I've been wanting a 3 3/4 version for the Vintage Collection, and finally Hasbro delivered. This is the brand new Target exclusive Kenner-colors Boba Fett for the Vintage Collection, and this thing is glorious in my opinion. You got the classic card back and then the classic Kenner colors on the modern Boba Fett. You can see it's VC 275, and there's a look at the previous wave plus the Dark Times Darth Vader for some reason. But yeah, man, this just looks fabulous, and I was able to pick up two, so I'm gonna open one. And here he is loose, and this guy just looks amazing to me. This hits me right in the feels with the nostalgia on these colors for Boba Fett. This has always been my favorite color scheme for Boba Fett, even though we know it's not screen accurate. But let's just grab the original Kenner Fett here, and you can see they did a great job of matching the paint scheme on all the different parts. I mean, look at that backpack and rocket, that's great. The only slight difference is like his codpiece area. Of course, they painted that green to continue his armor versus the vintage Kenner one never painted that. Now, this latest Boba Fett, of course, is a repaint of this Return of the Jedi Boba Fett from a couple years ago. A great mold. And so, of course, Hasbro is going to get the most out of that mold by repainting it. Of course, the first repaint was this Droids Boba Fett, another one of my favorite figures from TVC. And of course, they've got two more repaints of this mold coming with the two comic book versions of Boba Fett, which should be coming out very soon in the US. But this Kenner-colors Boba Fett is probably my favorite Boba Fett to be released in TVC. It's a great mold, it just looks really good, and those Kenner colors, like I said, just really hit me with the nostalgia. I really think this is a must-have figure for any TVC collector who is also a fan of the original Kenner line. Alright, so now it's time to take a look at the brand new wave from the Vintage Collection that just started arriving from Entertainment Earth, and we'll go in order of VC number, starting with this reissue. This is the Starkiller on the Expanded Universe card. This is a figure I did not get from TVC 1.0, and it's an awesome one. I've been wanting this guy, and I noticed his face, to me, looks like it might be a new head sculpt, an improved one. The pictures I've seen online, the features look a little bit softer. So I think they have improved that, but let me know if you think that is not right and it's the exact same head sculpt. This figure comes with so many accessories, a whole other outfit you can put on him, double lightsabers, ignited and unignited. If Hasbro made this as a totally new figure today, it would be a deluxe figure because of all the accessories it's got. But as you can see, it's VC100, and there's a look at the current wave as well as some of the previous wave figures. But man, what an awesome figure and card back I've been wanting for a long time. Very happy to have this reissued. Next up, this wave did come with a carryover figure from the last wave, and that is Calcustus from Jedi Survivor. I've already shown this one before, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. You can see it's VC265. But this is my second one to get now, so I have opened him. So here's just a quick look at him. Opened, great face sculpt, like the mold on his torso. And the BD1 is so cool that it actually articulates, even though it's so tiny. Head and legs move, so that's really cool. And he's got some nice features. He's got an unlit saber that can connect to his belt. And he comes with the blaster as well. So very cool figure, solid figure. And the first new figure in this wave is Cassian Andor Aldani mission. There's the Andor logo. Great image of Cassian. This is of course from that scene when they're robbing the Imperials. And there's a look at the figure. And taking a look at the back, you can see this is VC267, and there's a look at the rest of the wave, plus a few from the other wave. And this one did come double packed, so I did have one to open loose. And here he is loose. Let's take a look at the head. You can see his hat has that little emblem on there, which is a nice touch. It is removable. A great face sculpt of Cassian. Now the hat does seem a little loose sometimes, but here I'm shaking it's not falling off, but sometimes it does seem to fall off very easily. The armor looks great, and when you get to the legs, you do realize the boots are not accurate. In the show, these guys are wearing standard Imperial boots, but these are a straight reuse from the Shore Trooper legs and boots / shin guards. And so that's a bit unfortunate, but the rest of it looks really good. And there is probably some reuse here. You can see compared to this Din Djarin Shore Trooper, you can see they've used the same legs, but then that chest plate is the same, just repainted, which is fine. No issues there. Here's a look at his blaster. Now you try to put this in the holster, it does not fit properly, so the scope has to stay on the outside of the holster in order to make it fit, which is fine because I think the holster would otherwise be just way too big. So checking out the articulation, standard ball joint for the head. You've got ball hinge joints for the arm at the shoulder, ball hinge joints at the elbows, and you've got the swivel hinge joint at the wrist. So all pretty standard stuff there. The legs at the hips are again ball hinge. It's the old style. It's not the barbell. Swivel at the shin and hinge at the ankles, straight up and down, but no rocker ankles, unfortunately. And then at the crunch, you've got a standard crunch ball joint there. So yeah, pretty typical stuff. So overall, I think this is a great looking figure with standard articulation. The head sculpt is excellent. The hat might be a tad bit too big, but it doesn't bother me. I think it's fine. And it's just a great looking figure, a good card back. And so I'm really happy with it. If you like the Andor series, I'd say this is a must-have figure. Next up is Hunter from the Bad Batch. And right off the bat, I can tell this is a very cool figure with a cool card back. You can see it's got the Bad Batch logo there. Great image of Hunter there on the cover with some smoke kind of going in the background. And look at all the accessories you can see it comes with. You can see this is VC268, and there's a look at the wave on the back. But yeah, awesome looking card back. And this one was also double packed, so I will be opening him. So let's take a look. And here he is loose, and he looks very cool. I like the paint apps on this guy. Everything looks new. I'm pretty sure this is an entirely new figure. He's got a nice bulky backpack there. I'm very impressed with everything I'm seeing on this figure. And let's go ahead and remove his helmet and take a look at that head sculpt. The head sculpt looks great. Yep, it's kind of a more realistic version of Hunter. Done very well. You see he's got his little bandana. So really good head sculpt, and despite having all that hair, when you put on his helmet, I don't think his head looks too big. The helmet does not look that big to me. I think it's fine. And check this out. His vibroblade has a holster on his forearm, and it stays in there very snug. And the backpack is also very snug. I was very impressed with how tight the backpack stays on to his back. You know, they struggle with this in the Black series, where a lot of these backpacks tend to be very loose. The pauldrons are a soft plastic, very loose, so you can get plenty of articulation at the shoulders. And let's take a look at the weapons that comes with him. First off, his main blaster right there. Pretty bulky gun. Looks pretty good. And then he's got this teeny tiny little pistol. It seems a little bit too small to me. It looks, you know, maybe it might be a little bit silly him holding this thing, but I guess it's screen accurate. I'm not too sure, but just a tiny little blaster pistol. No holster to keep that in, unfortunately, but that's screen accurate. I don't believe he has a holster on his thigh in the show. But yeah, the main blaster looks great in his hand, and you can grip the front part with his other hand as well, so that looks good. And then of course his third weapon I've already shown is his vibro blade that holsters in his forearm, which I just can't get over with how cool that is. Very awesome. So let's take a look at the articulation. I'll take his helmet off first. Head is on a standard ball joint. And then you have a ball hinge at the shoulder. Again, plenty range of motion because of the loose pauldrons. No obstruction there. Standard ball hinge joint at the elbows. And standard swivel hinge at the wrist. You got a pretty typical crunch joint here. Plenty of motion to work with. And then at the legs, you've got the new barbell style hips, which is excellent. And then of course you can swivel at the thighs. You can swivel at the knee. There's a ball hinge joint at the knee, so plenty of range of motion there for the knees. And at the ankles, you've got a ball hinge and rocker ankles. So that is excellent. Everything is up to date with the articulation on this figure. Again, I am pretty sure this is an all new figure from Hasbro. So now that we've taken a good look at him, let's get this guy into some poses. And I can tell you, I have been having a ton of fun posing Hunter. He can do all kinds of stuff, and with his different accessories, it makes it even better. This is just a really cool figure. I'm very impressed, and I'd have to say this is an early contender for figure of the year. He's definitely going to be up there, probably top 5 for the year. Next up is the Clone Trooper Phase 2 armor on an Andor card. Now that did surprise me at first, that they put this all new Clone Trooper on an Andor card, since the Clone Troopers were such a small part of the show. It was just a flashback and I think one scene. But I'm fine with it. The other thing that did surprise me as well was that Hasbro only packed one of these in the case instead of double packing them when this is an army builder. I didn't think that really made much sense. They should have double packed this guy instead of the Cassian Andor figure, for example. But it is what it is. So I only got one of these so far. But there's the Andor logo. You've got the yellow name pill, and what a fantastic card back image. This is a perfect image from the show to capture these guys. And there's a look at the figure. Great new helmet and great legs. You know, the previous Clone Trooper mold had super skinny legs, so this looks way better. I can't wait to get another one of these to open. Unfortunately, guys, I'm not going to open this one because it's the only one I have, and the card back's in pretty good shape. And on the back, you can see this is VC269, and there's the rest of the wave. But overall, great looking card back and figure. Cannot wait to get more of these guys to open up. And finally, from the new wave, we have Admiral Pit from Return of the Jedi. This is the first of many Imperial officers to come, I'm sure, with this new mold. You've got the 40th Jedi anniversary image there, Return of the Jedi logo. And what an amazing card back image Hasbro chose to use for Piett. I love this image with the Battle of Endor and Death Star 2 going on in the background. It's a great image. The head sculpt is a pretty decent likeness to the actor. However, his eyes are just a tad bit on the buggy side, if you ask me. But the rest of this figure looks great. There's a look at his blaster. And they did use the inaccurate ranking insignia badge, which that was on purpose to reflect the incorrect badges that all the Imperial officers wore on Return of the Jedi. Looking at the back, you can see it's VC270, and there's another look at the rest of the wave. But man, really awesome card back, and very happy to have an all-new Imperial officer added to the line that can be used for many officers to come. So out of this wave, I think my two favorite card backs have to be the Clone Trooper Phase 2 Armor and the Admiral Pit. They are both excellent card backs, but the best figure from this wave overall, I'd have to say, has to go to Hunter. This is just an excellent figure. Like I said, he is probably going to be an early candidate for Figure of the Year. Very impressed with everything he can do and how he looks. Alright, so that's going to do it for this episode of Brett on Fett. Let me know in the comments what you think about all these new figures that have recently come out. Also, don't forget I'm getting closer to 500 subscribers, and once I do, I will be having another awesome giveaway, so stay on the lookout for that. Thanks so much for watching this video. Thank you to my subscribers. Don't forget you can also follow me on Instagram and on Twitter. Take care, and we'll see you next time.